Okay, cool. Okay, thank you everyone for coming. Today I'll talk about QA role in general. Me as a QA engineer, I have some knowledge about it I want to share. So let's start. I mean, this is basically the title. So Chapter 1 Introduction. So who am I? My name is Milan Teodorović. I'm originally from Serbia, now living in Netherlands. I'm QA for 7+ years, maybe 8 right now. So I changed few companies. I worked from some product companies, from some outsourcing ones. Right now I'm working at Lunatech. It is outsourcing one. We have a couple of clients, so I was involved in some projects. So that's about that. This presentation. This is some roadmap you can see. We'll first talk about quality a little bit, then what it is a QA role, then QA team, or what it can, or external QA role, but we'll get to that, and some real-world examples how some other companies do it, so we can let's say get introduced to the QA practices in general and what my role does and how it can benefit the team or the company and so on. So let's get started. Before actually we start, feel free to interrupt me. I mean, I don't have any questions for you though, but if you have any questions for me, you can ask them in the middle or at the end. That's also fine. All right. So what is quality? So I Googled and typed on ChatGPT to give me the list of quality definitions, and this is just some of it, and list goes on and on, because whoever you talk to or whoever you ask will have different opinion. So there is always something that we always need to do the best as we can, but there is not a single definition what quality is. Something that I think that encapsulates it the best is that quality of a product or service refers to its ability to consistently meet or exceed the customer expectations and deliver value. So we want to create the product that delivers value that customers can use, but that can also help them. Sorry about that. I just stuck. So basically, we want to give our customers the products or service that can exceed their expectations and deliver our value. Okay, but next step is maybe even more important, is defining the quality, which means that it involves understanding customer needs, setting some clear specifications related to that and standards. Then we have to ensure that we are adhering to those standards. And I think the most important thing is to continuously improve based on that customer feedback. So let's say most two important words in this slide would be consistently and continuously, which indicates that the quality is more of a process than it is a one-time thing. We cannot really do something, define it, and be happy with it. We have to continuously work on it and improve, because if we're not, then the quality will definitely fall. And that means also for software as well, but this is, let's say, more in general. But for software, definitely, if we push something under the rug, for sure later it's going to come bite us back.
I slightly disagree with this.
Okay.
But I think quality is not depending on continuously improving something. Because for instance, you have a car. If it needs to be continuously be improved, you have to go every 2 weeks to the garage, and then they manufacture something.
Yeah, I don't.
And you don't want this. You want a car, you want to get the key, you want to drive.
Yeah, that's true. I understand, but we are not driving a car that's they're not quality standards same as like 50 years ago. I mean, from my perspective, so that's what I mean. A car is like maybe one product finished in a way, but the whole idea of a car and the quality behind it, I think there are always improvements in a way.
It's always possible to improve a car, of course, but when you have the car,
if it's
you cannot improve it anymore. So
Yeah, I can agree. I don't disagree. So. But I was more maybe then thinking on this here that in relation to software, if we are constantly working on it, if we're developing new features, we have to pay attention to make the quality standards apply. If we finish with some feature, if we like create some package that is done and it's working its thing, then we don't have to like all over revisit it.
Still you need to do service from time to time, right?
Yeah, but
do the same. So even finished product needs maintenance, needs some improvements.
Yeah, it is a maintenance though. I mean, we're now comparing maybe to the car analogy, but okay. I don't have the right answer, but that's actually a good thing because if I return to the previous slide, that's the exact thing that I said. I think everyone has a different view of qualities. This is just something that I think is working for me when I think of quality, and I personally look at it as a continuous process. Okay, cool. Let's continue. So, sorry about that. So, what is a QA role and how does it fit into all this quality thing? So on the screen we can see a bunch of different role names. So the QA actually stands for quality assurance, but I heard once QC. I wasn't sure at the very beginning. It stands for quality control. So we have like test developer here, QC tester, software engineering test. And they're all doing the different things, QA analyst as well, but they all fall into the same umbrella in a way that are quality assurance role, and they are in a way focusing on the quality of product or helping the team pursue that goal. So if we go to the next slide, there is some comparison between the QAs and the developer mindset. Of course, this is not true for every single person. Every person will probably have a mix of these values or mindsets. But in general, if we are comparing the person who excels at the QA job and the developer job, it's mostly that QA person is focusing on quality and has preventive mindset, whereas developer has a focus on functionality and has a construction-oriented mindset. So developer, in a way, tries to build something to provide more features, where QA is more for trying to see how it can break it down. I've been doing both in a way. So I have some small analogy for that. I know I've been, when I'm testing something, when some other developers give me some ticket to test, I really try my best to look from different angles to break it, actually to open some bugs. But when I was creating some API, I was maybe, of course I'm not a great developer, so there's that, but I was maybe just focusing on the features. And when I took a step back and take a look at it as a maybe QA look, I realized that there's a bunch of different holes in my development, so I had to improve it. Of course, there are also other items where again, developer is more technical person, is a more problem-solving person, and whereas a QA is having more attention to detail and is trying to see the product from the user perspective and trying to bring that knowledge to help shape the product. So sorry. Yeah, I think that's about that one. Yeah, here is the joke. I wanted to bring another point home with this. So basically, a software engineer, a QA, software QA engineer walks in a bar. He orders a beer. He orders 0 beers, a million beers. He orders a lizard or a random thing. And then a first real customer walks in and asks where the bathroom is. And the bar bursts into flames, killing everyone. So yeah, this is more like a developer, of course, trying to build everything around the beer order, but the QA mindset should actually help us see the bigger picture and anticipate the user needs, where not necessarily only the beer will be ordered, but maybe something else as well. Okay, so what the QA can do in a multifunctional team. So on the screen we can see actions that are leaning more to the, I named it the QA part, where is more of manual actions that a person can perform and is thinking about the process more. And on the other side we have a developer leaning role, which is the software developer in test. While one person can for sure do all of this, the developer leaning role is more leaning to write some automated tests, setting some CI pipelines, and the other side will be more writing test cases and creating test plans. But no, that is not excluding, like the one is not excluding the other. So both of those roles can do all things. It's just that this is more a separation, how one will lean on the other, one side or the other. So we have some tools that QA persons also use. I don't know, maybe you have used some of these. These are mostly here for the automated frameworks for UI, for API, for some load tests. So we have those, and we have the test management tools. For example, the test rail one is the test management tool, and we have also the Postman, which is mostly for manually checking stuff. And the other tools at the QA's disposal will be just like communication tools, reporting, and so on. But you can see that here more different tooling is present for the automated tests, for automation, because every one of these is trying to do different thing, fitting different role, and some of are written in different languages. Where the for test management tools and for manual work, there is only 1 or 2 or 3 different kinds of tools, where the rest relies on the person, how he can create the tests, how he can approach the testing part of the application, and so on. And the third item, the other, and the communication tools and reporting. I mean, this is also pretty important in the QA's, I would say, daily work, where we have to communicate, we have to submit the report and analyze them, and so on and so on.
Why did you add Gatling to these tools?
Why?
Yeah.
Well, it is a load testing, performance testing tool. Yeah, I mean, it can be used, of course, by the non-QAs, of course, but yeah, it helps QAs or any other developers test the performance of the application. No?
Well, I'm using it for performance testing, but for the other tools I'm using for automatic testing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I use the Gatling as well, so that's why I put it. But yeah, that's just one of the tools that I guess QA can fit into their lineup. Okay, so the benefits of having this QA person in a multifunctional team, of course, there's always testing experience. That person probably spent a lot of time actually writing tests. He knows maybe some tips and tricks. There's some attention to details, analytical thinking, and so on. But the three at the bottom are, in my opinion, the most important ones. So again, we are going to that continuous improvement mindset, where a QA person is the one who will always try to ask more questions, maybe be boring with something, where we're always asking if there is something else that can be improved. And the other one is challenging status quo. So it's, let's say, connected to that one. So again, always asking questions. I've been in a position where I just wasn't familiar with the technology being used or the tool. So I did ask, what in my mind was a pretty trivial question, but then it took a lot of effort for the rest of the team to explain it to me, or for the person that was implementing it, which indicates that if it's not simple in a way, that maybe it could be simpler. So I don't know, I just feel that whenever you can challenge status quo or ask more questions for improvement, I think you should do it as a QA. And the last one, I think the most important one, is the different point of view, where I'm coming back to the mindset part again, where the QA will just have a different view on the development, and help the developer see the different side of it. Okay, the next chapter is similar to that, but then we're talking now about what the QA team is, or a QA outside of multifunctional team. So up until now, it was all the part in a team. What can a person work there? How the person can contribute. But now we are introduced to the role that exists outside of the team. So there can be a team of QAs, or one person that is focusing on the quality in general, maybe in the company, and is more as an advisory role to the development team, where in a company there can be a setup like that those external QAs are in charge of quality of all the projects, and are helping other teams to improve their software, improve their quality, having some workshop and guidelines, and some trainings for the tools, etc. So what would be those, I would say, do's and don'ts for that external QA or QA team? Again, since it's advisory, it would be more of suggesting new approaches, do some trainings, help the team to work on their own issues. So it is, that person should not be there to set some rules. It should not impose decisions, impose toolings, and it definitely should not have one strategy that could fit the any project, but rather adapt to the each one. And of course, they can also kickstart a new project or new framework, or any that is actually helpful to the development team. And some real world examples. This is something that the internet said, of course, and because I have not worked in these companies yet. And again, it's not necessarily that this is only like this, so there is probably different approaches, because they're pretty big, of course. But for example, if you're talking about Microsoft, they are one of the first that they introduced the role of software developer in test, where they had a lot of trouble with I don't want to say quality, but with development of the tests, where initially every programmer was writing everything. So they started to hire and change their roles to engineers who would only be focusing on the tests and their creation and run. where, for example, in Atlassian, there is a different approach. There is outside QAs, I mean, still employed at the company, but again, they're more as a like advisory person, where there's more maybe one QA for 30 people or even more, so that's like more teams, and then they are going from team to team and helping with their work if there is needed. And of course, there can be also a hybrid one, as Amazon does it. So there is also persons in the multifunctional team, but there is also outside team or maybe like a guild that they can move their focus to other topics. I think the dedicated QAs in multifunctional teams had the most examples. So I think a lot of companies who work with the QAs have this, at least again, the big ones that I had to chance to see. But from my experience, I think the hybrid one is maybe the best one, because you have the person who is in the team, familiar with the product, but outside of that, it can also work on some QA-specific projects, or maybe some automations of some work. So I think that one would work the best. But I think that's, of course, different for every team and for every company. So there is no, of course, one recipe for everything. So conclusion is that quality is hard, and the quality is a process, and it's a way to go. And I think we all work together to achieve quality goals. So there is a lot of going on when they're like developers don't like QAs because they're always yes, exactly. But I think the right way is actually to realize that we are all going in the same direction, and that we all want to have the, let's say, successful project, and that we all work together. And yes, that's it. Thank you.